pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Sanchez?
Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Reyes. I'd like to proudly present the 2025 NMAA 2A Esports State Champions. This team of young men and women went into this competition, expecting to have a good time and, just compete with other friends, do really good, honestly. But they went up, they gave it their all. They actually managed to take down Cuesta last second and just take first place in state for esports. Hard fought by everybody. Every single team had a part to play in this. Mario Kart in racing. They had 2K in basketball, Madden in football, Super Smash Bros. In a fighting 1v1 game, and then Rocket League in a car soccer game. All of those games contributed toward point total and bring it in for us to, bring this amazing recognition down to our school. Once again, I'm going to give you guys a quick little introduction to esports. I talked about it before, but really they're just competing in video games, something they already do at home. They just play, leisurely. Here they work with a team or, individually for 2K and Madden, and they use skills or, strategies that they've practiced already, and then to bring it up to a school level and compete in a NMA sanctioned sport. So these guys have all managed to, I'm not going to say do the impossible because they already had the expectation from the beginning. They said they were going to win state and they held true to their word. But no, I'm proud of these guys and I wanted to present them today to you guys.
And I have certificates for all of them. I'll call your name if you guys will get your certificate and shake the board's hand, and then you'll line up over there on that side for a picture. So Emily Amaya. Carlos Ceniceros. Michaela Dees. Eileen Dominguez. Giovanni Nathaniel Espino. Julian Hilario. Elan Lona. Robert Lopez. Grayson Nowak. Sebastian Pettis.
Those real well.
Emmanuel Sanchez. Jason Sanders. And Xavier Zamora.
And parent volunteer, Miss Cam Dees.
Congratulations.
Good job.
That's awesome.
Let's take a picture, guys. Where would it be best to take a picture?
You want to have them go behind the board?
Yes, that'll work.
So just go against the wall next.
When are we gonna have a board versus state champion?
I like that.
We're open to it any day, right?
Just walk down the wall.
Behind
Behind the chair.
I'll carry the board, I don't care.
Okay. Mark, I guess I can play the Mario Kart.
I can do Mario. I can do
Just send them to me, Daniel.
Mario. I can do Mario.
Go ahead and move from the word this way, Sebastian, please. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I took several of them.
And tell them about their rings, Mr. Sanchez. That they'll be
Okay,
working
so
for them.
This is a surprise for really everybody, including the esports team. So at first they had asked me if we were going to get rings. I reluctantly said no, sadly, because I really want to commend them for all their work. But talking to Ms. Reyes, she said, hey, let's do fundraisers, and we will be working towards getting them all rings for their esports state championship. Keep the memory going.
Good job, guys. Thank you.
Take on your job.
Y'all don't have to stay.
Yep.
Yeah, you're welcome to, but you don't have to.
You're welcome.
Finish. More comment back? I should be the esports.
Now you know.
You can check that off like you see.
President Ross, the second one, the presentation of the NMSBA excellence, we need to postpone it till May. She's not here today. Okay?
Oh, okay. Any comments or questions about the agenda? I see a motion to approve. Motion. Moved by Dustin,
Second.
second by Trevor. All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Agenda approved. Public comment? Anybody?
I would like to say something.
Sure.
I went with Albuquerque for esports, and the camaraderie and sportsmanship with those kids there was nothing I had ever seen before. So I thought that was really amazing.
That is good.
All those kids are really good. And I'm really thankful that our boys have good hygiene. Some of those. Yes, that's nice.
Not all gamers are smelly, okay?
Thankfully.
That's a stereotype.
Well, and then of course, we have to thank Mr. Sanchez because this is the first year doing this and he took a big responsibility and to take, I know he wasn't expecting to be the state champs, but kudos to you. So good job.
Anybody online? Katie? Alright. Moving on, Ms. Jolene, business finance.
I passed out the invoice that I made for investment requests. Just some carryover for, last little dab of monies for migrant is the first one. And then SEG adjustment, it's, another 166,000. I'm just gonna end up putting it, shoring up some spots in operational that look like it's running low on, is where I'll be ended up with that. The rest of them are just some transfers. As you can see, most of these, where I'm shortfall is in the substitute line. So I'm getting some money to shore those up. And in cafeteria, I'm moving a little bit of money from the food portion to some general supplies that some equipment Sally was needing for the cafeteria.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Any questions for Jolene? Thank you. Mr. Barbie?
Part they dug out and removed the old sand from the long jump and the triple jump pits before the track meet started and built the javelin throw to soften up the throw area. J&G finally came back and almost ready to certify the fire alarm system they need for CAM Fire and Security from Carlsbad to come and install a communicator for the Nova fire panel in the high school gym. Got a quote for 2 speed bumps between the elementary and middle schools for $4,091.43 from Desert West Enterprises out of Roswell. Also got a quote for a traffic control gate with the ghost control systems for $7,095. on the north side of the gym to be installed on the north side of the gym. Been trying to stay at my desk this past week to close out work orders, except when emergencies come up. Had a big grease trap sewer line and wash station garbage disposal last Thursday. And we got that unstopped. Then Friday, we got the garbage disposal done. Have Johnson septic tank coming tomorrow to pump out the grease trap. We pumped it out in August, but it seems like it's got a lot of extra grease. And I guess that's it.
Any questions? You mentioned gates. What were you talking about with the gates at the back of the gym?
Yeah, right there where they're going in. Miss Reyes wants to have a little bit more traffic control back there. We got too many people coming in and out all times of the day. And that's just kind of to put a stop to that.
They come around the back and turn around and, I got you.
I mean, I really wanted, and we got a quote, this was a while back, for a nice gate and one of those kind of like automatic gates, iron, but it was a little too expensive. And with the new school coming up, we better just wait on that. And however, sometimes, I see cars leaving at any time of the day. So we definitely need to keep control of, if kids are leaving or, they're skipping school or parents going in through the back.
Sure.
I remember my sophomore year, they made the superintendent made the ag class build the gates to lock us at the school.
Is that an option?
That's that.
He's already shaking his head.
I don't know, Parker?
Next
Probably not
summer,
this
yeah.
year.
I will be honest, I don't have the student skill set, the students with the skill set. Not trying to harbor those kids, but we've been building benches for the last month and a half, and it's a lot of reconstructive going, so.
I just say whatever we buy and just make sure we can reuse it with our new building, right? I guess.
So basically, it will be the same as the, like the, I don't know if you've seen the bus gate. And the bus drivers, they have kind of like a remote and it opens and then it just closes again. I mean, it's just a simple one.
Oh, that means like just like a piece of pipe with a.
Pretty much. Mhm.
That's simple enough. Our original plan, when we were talking, was a full-on gate. That's when I was like, I'm out. No, we could probably build that.
But that one was like $44,000 and it was a little costly.
I was quizzed about sprinklers and stuff down at the field house stuff where the javelin pits and things. Is that a possibility or the ask was, even they could write some grants to try to help with some of that too.
Do we not have any sprinklers on that side?
Not out there. We got a quote 2 or 3 years ago and it was almost $40,000 just to put in the sprinkler system.
Could it be a project for a student or something like that? Like was it an SAE kind of project?
Mhm.
or something like
I'll
that?
look into it and we'll make it happen.
Well, just a lot of dirt and rocks out there
Mhm.
for those kids, but.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Barbie. Special ed.
Everyone.
Alrighty, I have a whole heck of a lot to report in that final 5-week, mad dash. Got a few more professional development things. Got Spring Academy coming up next week, and then there's one IEP writing workshop in Santa Fe to do in an ELL workshop half day to help identify kids, Spanish speakers. We had child find, what was that, a couple weeks ago? It seemed like there was 1,000 kids there. Wasn't 1,000, but it just seemed like that. It was a pretty good group, really. I was pretty impressed. Had one little kid, I gave him a piece of paper and he signed his name. I was like, oh my goodness. So I said, off you go. I think we identified 3 kiddos that we're gonna do some evals on for some speech. And that was about it out of the entire crew. So elementary's got, you know, a good group coming in, either at preschool or kindergarten level. And then the last thing is, the only other thing coming, that's kind of a requirement is the Idea B applications. If they ever release our funds, that's our major state funding source. Between Kelly Ellis up at the REC and Miss Montana, they got that kind of in order. And that'll be on the agenda in the May meeting that you guys have to approve. If you want to approve it, you know. So, but you have every year since they invented Idea B, so. Any questions?
All right, thank you. Yes, I'm in.
We did get another officer hired, so, children should be back, over here at the school full-time, within the next 2 weeks. And then, I think Ms. Red's already told you about stuff going on this week, and then, of course, prom and everything like that, but, we've just been busy taking care of all that, getting ready for that stuff, and getting a new officer hired, so, yeah, hopefully by at least 2 weeks, I should be able to have the other guy out on patrol and children's back at the school full-time.
Thank
Who
you.
is the new officer? Can we?
Yeah, his name is Manuel Cedillo, and he came from Roswell Police Department, so.
Awesome. Elementary.
All right, I gave you a report, it's got a lot of pictures. Just our super readers and amazing mathematicians, students of the month. We have staff pride referrals, and then you see our students referrals. Let's get to the good part. March 27th, we had a Spanish spelling bee. And A-Rod has joined. Man, looking good. Man, Corey, settle down a bit. All right. March 27th, we hosted the Spanish spelling bee. For the first time ever, we had an elementary winner. Melanie Beltran outspelled her brother, Diego. They went head to head for a while. I know, you hold that over Diego. And she beat Diego. So Melanie got first, Diego got second, and then Luis Siniceros actually is another 5th grader, got third. And so really excited about that. Melanie will go compete at regionals
This weekend.
this weekend. And so Ms. Cotto will take her there. On Friday, March 28th, Hagerman's pre-K classes visited the Roswell Library, and then we went to the inclusion playground there in Roswell and ate McDonald's. So they were really happy on that one, which is a good day for them. On Monday, March 31st, John Konsvik with TESOL trainers came in, and we were really, really fortunate. He's come and done some training for our staff before, and some of our staff have gone to training. I think the last training was a couple years ago. It was all online, but we were fortunate to be able to get him to come in person, and he's outstanding. Really hands-on. Teachers were up and engaged the whole time, laughing and having fun, and it was by far well worth every penny that we paid. Staff had told me things that they went into their class and implemented day one. And so it was just strategies on instruction and engagement. And it didn't matter what subject you could teach, you could use the strategies. So it was really, really good. It was well worth all that. Thanks to Ms. Reyes for setting that up. She knows John and stuff. So Friday, April 11th, we had pre-K roundup. My calculations, between pre-K and kinder, we had 53 kids register that day.
Wow.
So it was a really good day and stuff. And so we had set it all up in the library from 9 to 11. It was packed and stuff. So our numbers look really good coming in pre-K and kinder. Our 4Y class is already full. Our 4Y and 3-4Y is already full. We've got a little bit of room in 619 where we can take some more peers or students who qualify. And then at kinder, we're We're sitting at 20 with a couple return kids who just need to bring theirs back. So our numbers are sitting really, really well at pre-K and kinder. So that was a really, really good event. April 17th, we hosted the color run. We shout out to Ms. Rodriguez and Coach Rodriguez for all their hard work on that event. Community really shows out, and it was really a great event. This year, because of finding a day with track, and we did it on early release and did it in the morning, and we actually bumped it up 30 minutes, and we were able to get it done before the wind really started. So we were really fortunate on that. Monday, actually today, FFA came and hosted Easter egg hunts for all of our classes. So our kids were excited about the 5 eggs that they got. So they were super, super excited about that. Things coming up. Last Wednesday we had our 5th graders took the state science tests. Tomorrow, our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders will take the ELA. And on Wednesday, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade will also take the math. We got Spring Picture Day coming up on April 30th. May 2nd, we'll have a house day, an early release, Bobcat break, and Spring Fiesta celebration. Elementary kids will be performing during that celebration, so that should be a good time. May 5th through the 9th, we'll have a BOGO book fair, so it's buy one, get one free. This is our 3rd book fair of the year. Ms. Monica Aguilar does a great job of scheduling these and organizing them and running them. And so we're excited about having that one. May 14th, we'll have a talent show. May 15th is food distribution. This year, all of our kids on their spring field trip are going to the Artesia Aquatic Center. And so pre-K, kinder, and first will go on the 16th, and 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th will go on the 19th. The 20th, the last week's just busy. We have awards assembly. 5th grade promotion will be on the 20th. Kinder promotion will be on the 21st. The 22nd will be our field day and house celebration. We'll celebrate our winning house. Recently, a house took over first. It's one house has had it all year long until recently. Let's see if they can hold on to it. And then our last day of the year, we're calling a turnaround day. Kids will come and get report cards and go home so that we can tie up the year. And so it's a busy till the end of the year, but a lot of good stuff going on. So stand for any questions.
Thank you. Question?
Is the field day on the same night as a baseball game?
So field day is going to be during the day, and probably because it's Thursday. So good luck. Last year it was brutal.
Last year was
I went and watched them after, and it was terrible. So I'm giving you a month to see if you can get that changed.
Okay.
You know, there'll be a lot of sick kids that day. You may not have enough to play. It needs to be rescheduled. So
Okay, I'm good with that.
that will be on a Thursday.
Are you playing a Hagerman team?
I have no idea.
That'll make a big difference.
You should have it remembered.
He's the coach.
You're the president. Okay. I'm what?
All right, any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the secondary school report, enrollment is the same at the middle school as it was last month. We're down 1 at the high school. So we're at 170 between both buildings. No major changes to report as far as attendance goes, still trending in the positive direction. We will make our determination of the No Zero Heroes by May 9th, just so the seniors will know which finals, if they don't have to take any, and then other kids will kind of have an idea of what they need to plan for and prepare for. The junior class is hosting prom this weekend. It's a casino night theme. There's lots of things on the spring calendar, and I'll go through some of that. There's a track meet on Thursday at Loving. We have prom on Saturday. Monday is the Written and Read Scholarship Dinner, and we are the hosts for that event this year. On Tuesday, Ms. Reyes and I and Mr. Parker are going to a meeting in Lake Arthur for the Permian Basin Initiative for Career Tech Ed. The 11th graders are going to take the ASR. And that evening is the Chaves County Teachers of Character ceremony, and we have several teachers from the secondary level nominated for that honor. Wednesday is Spring Picture Day, and we're going to have a parent advisory meeting that night to discuss a few things to prepare and plan for next year. Then we'll be in May, pretty quick thereafter. The second is an early release day. Ms. Dunn, in collaboration with Year Up, is planning a career fair for the high school students for that morning, since we're on an early release schedule. We're going to host a staff CPR training for our PD day that day, and our goal is by the start of the school year, or quickly into the start of the new school year, 100% of our staff will be CPR certified. That evening, bilingual program is going to host Cinco de Mayo celebration, and that sounds really exciting for all the things that they have planned for that. Also the day of the district track meet. So if you're looking for something to do, there's plenty to do on May 2nd. May 5th is the FFA banquet. Parker doesn't know what they're serving yet, but he'll figure it out soon. May 6th through the 11th is BPA Nationals. They'll be going to Orlando. May 8th through 10th is a state track meet. And May 13th, the 8th graders are going to go to Lubbock for their class trip, if that is approved tonight. We'll have baccalaureate on May 15th, which is a Thursday. And then we will have graduation on May 17th. And then on May 22nd, we have 8th grade promotion scheduled, and the middle schoolers will host an end of the year dance, and they're going to invite the 5th graders to come to their first middle school dance, since they'll have their promotion earlier in the week. And we have just 24 more days of school left and 4 more Mondays, so stand for anything.
Stop that.
You're the second person to tell me to quit counting down today. But I stand for any questions, and I know Coach Rodriguez and Mr. Parker may have some more things to add to secondary.
Any questions?
Written in red scholarship, what's,
Okay,
I'll let you.
okay, so we actually have 3 or 4 students this year that they filled out an application with, for the written in red scholarship. And so 3 of them were selected from here and 1 from Lake Arthur. So this year we are going to be hosting the event, and all of you are cordially invited to come to the event. It will be on the 28th, and I believe it starts at 5:30, correct?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, is that what the invitation
I'm
said?
not sure. I haven't seen an
Okay.
invitation. I just haven't.
I will confirm that, and then I will definitely let you know, but, I can tell you, and, again, you're cordially invited, the Lake Arthur board members will be here. No pressure. No pressure.
April 28th.
It's next Monday.
Yes, on Monday. And we will be at we'll set up in the commons area. The foundation will provide the dinner, and then we will provide everything else, desserts and drinks and everything else. So yes, hopefully you can come and join us.
I won't be able to come, but.
Man, 45 seconds.
I'm traveling.
You don't have to explain it to me.
All right, any other questions? Parker?
It's been super busy. CT wise, we're still kind of waiting on grant stuff to open up. I talked to our region K specialist today. They are aiming for Friday or Monday morning for all of our federal grant money to applications to open up. And so hopefully by May, I can kind of give you guys a number of what we're receiving between Perkins, Next Gen. This year I did apply for a program called Initiative Zone. It's a little bit more paperwork, but it does not disagree with any of our funding, and it kind of like correspond and work with work-based learning. So like we have a junior this year that's working for the school, and last summer we had a bunch of kids that worked for the school. It would help cover some of those salaries and help provide some opportunities for those kids. It's been super busy for FFA. We just wrapped up judging season. We had an amazing season. We had 2 teams walk at the state judging. We had a 5th place nursery team, a 2nd place agronomy team. We tried our hardest to take agronomy home with us this year, and it was tough. Maury already threw a fight with us.
You gotta finish, let's go!
Finish. Come on, let's go.
Thanks, Coach. 6th place bowl team, and all the other teams progressively have enhanced in their progress moving forward. It was amazing to see a lot of our younger kids where they placed and how they did. It was great.
as we're moving forward for FFA, we have our banquet, which all of you guys should have an invitation with you guys. You're all invited to join us May 5th for our banquet. I will have menu items tomorrow figured out. It's been a little chaotic. I've been gone. My mom had a knee replacement, so I was out part of last week with her. And then I had a procedure done too. So trying to get caught back up on everything and making sure my duties are done. But also with that, Hagerman FFA has partnered with the New Mexico Game and Fish. If you haven't seen it today, we're hosting Hunter's Ed for, theoretically it's 8 to 18. I put on the flyer 10 to 17 just to kind of target some of our younger kids that might need to do it. If you know anyone that's interested in participating in Hunter's Ed, reach out to me or sign up through the Google form. We'll get them taken care of. We can host 20 kids. Game and Fish are doing this for free for us. My buddy's the warden from kind of our area, and so he's going to come take care of us and teach it on May 2nd, 3rd and 4th that weekend in my classroom.
What hours?
I will have that next week. It will probably be a all-day Saturday, half-day Sunday type thing. His goal is to try to keep it as minimum length as possible. I am excited to share. We do have our first state officer candidate running for state office in a while. Grady Moss will be attempting his try and running for state office this year. He will be attending the nominating committee process this weekend, so I'll take him down Friday morning. We have a couple stops on our way there to practice interview, work with some other individuals. And then he'll spend the weekend interviewing with the nominating committee process. So wishing him luck, and we're excited to see where he does in this process. And then we'll have state convention in May and FFA camp this summer, and then a busy summer for getting ready for county fair and things like that. But for that, I stand for questions. Hopefully May I'll have budget information. I'm tired of not knowing. I wish we knew. Ed just is up in the air. You don't know with Ed anymore.
Any questions for Parker?
6:32 p.m.
See, Reyes wants me to finish. A-Rod wants me to finish.
A-Rod, you still there?
Yeah, sorry, I had my phone out and I'm trying to yell at these guys, and I think I unhit mute. 1 second, let me get to a better place.
Shut up, let's go.
Okay, where we at?
Do you have anything to report?
Oh, okay. Track meet. We hosted a junior high and a high school track meet a couple weeks ago. That went well, very fast. We ran it very smooth. I want to thank everybody for their help and their support. Got some kids qualified in the high school meet. Guys are getting close. I think the boys have all their relay teams in. Girls are still working on a couple that they have a chance in. Individuals getting qualified. I know Javon has all his events, and our throwers, they're just about qualified in everything that they do as well. So track's doing good. Physicals, right now we are looking at, and I don't know, did Cody mention this in her report?
I don't know. No.
Okay, so we're working on getting Dr. Muir down here again to provide physicals for the kids. Right now, May 12th looks like the best date available. That doesn't interfere with any sports, and we're going to try to use the athletic hour as much as we can to get as many of those kids done without taking them out of class and interrupting the school day. And then they'll do their other stuff, their concussion class and other requirements that they need sometime that week, just so they're set for next year. And school's going to cover part of it. It's going to cost $25 for a physical, and the school's going to cover a part of it. With the kids only have to pay like $10-15. I can't remember which way we're slicing it. But great opportunities for these guys to get all their stuff in order before the start of the year, so we're not scrambling at the beginning of the year to get everybody, their physical and stuff like that. Interviewed potential football coaches last week. 4 candidates. I can't remember off the top of my head, and then we got one more tomorrow. So we should have a decision on a football coach by the end of the week this week, and we'll let y'all know. We'll be introduced in the newsletter and get a little synopsis on what he's done and what his plans are for our program moving forward. That's about all I can think of as far as sports go. I stand for any questions.
Thanks, A-Rod. Any questions for A-Rod? No, sir, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Send motion for approval of the regular meetings for the March 25th meeting and any investments and bills for the month of 2025. March 2020. Any questions? Send motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Chris.
Full second.
Second by Trevor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. First new item, budget adjustments. Any other questions for Ms. Jolene on those?
I make the motion to approve.
Trevor,
I'll second.
second by Dustin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item B is removal of Elva Barella from the signature card at JP Stone Bank.
I thought we did that last summer, but apparently we only put Carmen on the pickup at the drive-in. And they want board approval on that too, so I did not put our account numbers on there, but I just listed our 4 accounts. So we'll be taking her name off and putting Carmen on.
Any questions? Just need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Chris,
Second.
by Trevor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Approved. Item C, financial audit. It's from earlier. Any other questions? Just need a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Moved by Dusty,
I'll second.
second by Trevor. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carried. Item D, out-of-state travel for 8th graders to go to Adventure Park in Lubbock.
There are about 11 kids in that class that are eligible to go on their end of the year trip. They've gathered up some donations from their parents and they've been raising a little bit of money and they have enough money to go to the adventure park. They'll just go over in the morning. They will do the activities there, play video games and ride go-karts and stuff like that. And then we will come back that same day. It'll probably be myself and their 2 class sponsors who will take them over. And they will have a little trip. There's about 11 of them that are still eligible to go. There's only 12 in that class, I think. So that are on campus. But that's what, at the beginning of the year, when we had their meeting, what they wanted to do, that's what they thought of and they want to do. So I give them a lot of credit because they were willing to raise money and do the work so they could have an opportunity to go.
So there's 12 kids in the 8th grade class.
There is 14. 2 of them are not on campus every day.
See, is that small class?
They're in the small class.
Is that what?
I think the biggest they ever were last year was 16.
Any questions? Any other questions? Just need a motion to approve.
So moved. Have fun.
Chris,
Thanks.
Second.
second by Trevor. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item E, Alan Parker to attend Alabama's Exploration of Agriculture Education, June 8th through the 14th.
Good afternoon, Board. Superintendent Ms. Reyes. I kind of have a unique opportunity through New Mexico Ag Ed to attend this professional development opportunity. Last year, New Mexico FFA and New Mexico State University brought Alabama ag teachers to New Mexico and toured the Southwest. And so we're kind of changing the favor this year, and New Mexico ag teachers are getting the chance to go to Alabama. Last year when we had set up Perkins funding, we had to put in a line there for professional development and travel for me. Since I have received some other grants and other things that have paid for most of my travel and opportunities, like when I went to Nashville or San Antonio for NAAE, things like that, is still leaving that barrier right there of money that we have to spend by the end of this year. And so I'm asking permission to attend the 2025 Alabama Tour of Agriculture. It's a really cool opportunity, so we're gonna get to tour the poultry industry, forestry industry, natural resources, animal science, all different things. And so the Perkins grant that is already stipulated to spend on professional development for ag teachers, CTE teachers, will be covering this. We'll have a tour to start in the north part of Alabama and work our way all the way down to northern part of Florida. We'll fly into Huntsville and fly out of northern part of Alabama or Florida to partake in a week-long training, again, to explore different agriculture industries. You go back to those parts of the states and their agriculture is 3 times different than what we're used to here. I feel like this would provide me an opportunity to bring back some new skills and opportunities to really teach our kids, hey, this is what the forestry industry is actually like. We don't have that here. This is what marine biology is like. This is how your fish gets from here to Red Lobster or to the store. This is how you go to Home Depot and buy lumber. This is where it's coming from. Have that more firsthand experience to provide for these kids and not just be like, well, let's Google it or let's try this out. Let's see what the book says. Really providing me that firsthand experience. So without any further questions, I'm asking permission to travel to Alabama and northern part of Florida. You guys do have the letter that I provided Ms. Reyes, Ms. Dennis on everything. The total trip should cost about $25.68 with my flights, registration, everything like that. I will be responsible for my own meals and things, but and then it has the full itinerary, kind of what we're expecting to do. There's about 11 of us from the state going.
Any questions? Your CTE funds, you said?
Mm-hmm. Out of our Perkins and Next Gen.
You know, maybe it's just me, but I don't know how this is gonna. I just don't know how this is gonna, like, broiler egg and egg production and poultry hatchery and forestry. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just uneducated on all this stuff, but I just don't know how that's gonna tie into our ag program.
Understandable. I teach a lot of natural resources and forestry in my 8th grade ag. Providing the opportunity, this is an opportunity to kind of see different agriculture aspects and bring some different experiences to what New Mexico Ag just has to offer.
You're touring Auburn University too.
I think the exchange program, like from what I understand as a former ag teacher, the exchange program that they did, when they brought the Alabama teachers, they showed them chili production, pecans, things that were different, so they could have that knowledge to share with their students. So if their students were interested or if they were doing something, and I think that I know from my own experience when I was teaching animal science in the classroom, I can talk about what I know about mass poultry production, but I've never seen it in real life, and I've never, I can only speak from what I can see online, just like our kids. And I think sometimes our kids value a unique perspective or a firsthand perspective if they look for that credibility with us as ag teachers or as teachers as general, to have that experience to say, I've really seen this with my own eyes. And I think I don't imagine this will be something that we see happen very often for our teachers, an opportunity like this.
Do we have any curriculum that works with this?
We teach animal science and we teach forestry, natural resources, and we do have forestry in New Mexico, but it's a different kind of forestry than they have in the southeastern United States. And I think that was the hope that they would get some, and then also collaboration between what is ag ed and FFA. Georgia is one of the largest ag education and FFA states in the second, kind of behind, probably they're in the top 5 of FFA, and they do things a little bit different. So I think it's also a kind of a cultural exchange of ideas, like, how their programs work, how their schools work, to build some bridges between programs and chapters also.
Is there any opportunities, for our kiddos to look into Auburn's University? I mean, to gather, information, university information, things like that.
I know I will have the opportunity to grab as much resources as possible to bring back for the kids. I've never been to a major university like that. I attended New Mexico State University. And so if I have the opportunity to highlight, I've taken the kids to Purdue to highlight their ag programs, to highlight their campus, be able to have firsthand experience to explain Auburn and bring back some resources for them would be an amazing opportunity for them, yes.
This is all grant money, nothing coming out of the school.
Nothing coming out of school. We have already received approval from our region specialist that handles our grant money, and thought this was a great idea. She has signed off on multiple other ag teachers going as well.
Any other questions? Just need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll say.
Chris, second by Dusty. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Item F, Title I, Part C, library application.
So yes, as we've done every year, and I do, my purpose is to have the Title I application approved. However, while we remain committed to supporting our migrant students, the current Title I is always working with the application. So it's called the Title I Part C. The allocation, it's really not sufficient to even cover the salary of the migrant liaison. And unfortunately, they cut everybody in the state 60%. You don't have anything on this one here. Okay, so they cut everybody by 60%. Last year, we had about $25,000 that we still received. It was actually like $12,000, and then they just, Jolene did a budget adjustment. They gave us like another, what was it, Jolene, 187 or 587?
587.
Okay. And then we had carryover money of an additional $12,000, but this year they're only going to give us $3,809. And the requirements that this grant, it just requires so much, a lot of paperwork. Tomorrow, PED will be here, and they will be talking to me. They will be talking to the migrant parents. It's going to take at least half a day. I just don't feel that it is enough money. Again, in the past, we used to get enough funding to be able to cover the liaison, that salary, and we still paid some of the liaison salary, using operational funds. However, now we would have to, the liaison salary is about 32, let's say somewhere around there, about 32,000 per year, and then getting only 3,809, and then the requirements that everything that they need, they want us to do, send the, I have to go to those trainings, and the liaison has to go to those trainings, so all of that, it's gonna be more of a burden for the district than what they are giving us. With that said, the students will still receive their services because we provide after school tutoring, but the grant does not allow, there's no funding for them. The kids get a lot of resources, but we really don't use the migrant funds. So what I would like, and I'd like to opt out of that grant because I think it's more of a burden. It's more, we're not getting anything. Unless, we can wait and see if everything that's happening in the Fed, with the feds, maybe they'll give us more money at a later time. But at this time, with $3,000, it's just not enough. The kids will still be serviced, no matter what. We will continue to service them.
So what's the benefit of the grant?
It's to be able to, again, so we have the liaison, and that's about the only thing that we can pay because there's never enough money for supplies. There's never enough money for professional development. It's a lot of work, believe me, a lot of work, a lot of requirements that we have to comply. I mean, it is a federal grant. And it's to be able to help the students. We are still helping the students, but we are using additional funds. And basically, the funds that we give from this grant just covers it used to cover part of the liaison salary. Now it doesn't. And really the liaison works with those students one-on-one and provides resources for the parents.
So this additional money, you're saying nix this whole thing, because it's a lot of work to build
It's a
this
lot of work.
application?
Yes. It's a lot of work, and I'm not afraid of the work, but the thing is that they're not even giving us much money anymore. It's not worth it. I mean, we can continue, that's not the problem, but we probably have to end up paying more.
So if we get the grant, we pay more?
And we'll probably end up paying more because the position, it doesn't even cover the position anymore. It's not enough. So this year, what we had to do with that position, because even this year it wasn't enough, the only thing is that we had some carryover money that we were able to use. But this year, we ended up paying the liaison 75% from community schools money and 25% from migrant. But this year, I don't think it will even cover the 25% of the salary.
Who's our liaison?
Elizabeth Parra. However, I do have the application, we can sign it, and hopefully, we will be able to get some more money.
It's set, this price is set already, like,
That's what, yes, for this coming year. I did,
Something carryover though?
well, we have a little bit of carryover money, but it won't be much. Because the carryover money, we had $12,000 carryover money, but then we spent $7,500 on some of these supplies. So that takes it down to $5,000, and then the $5,000 would be used for the summer school. So we won't have any carryover money. So this is it, the $3,800. Now, I spoke with the one of the guys from PED, and he says, well, hopefully by October, we might be able to give more funding on that, but it's not a for sure thing.
And this has to be submitted prior to July?
It has to be submitted by May, I believe it's May 22nd. And that's why I wanted to get this signed today, just in case, there's a possibility that they can say, yes, there's a little bit more. But everybody, all of the districts, there's probably like 8 districts that have the migrant program, and everybody got cut by 60%. So it's significant.
if we approve this today though, do you have to submit that?
Because we do have local control, but if we approve it today, then, if we get more money, then I will send it and we can just take it.
Oh, okay.
So this isn't we just lose it all together.
Correct.
Okay.
And this is not the only program that is at risk. There's so many federal programs that are at risk. So right now, we have Title I, we have Title II, Title III, Title IV. Those applications are already being submitted as well, but we don't know if they're, we are at risk of losing everything, so we don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully not.
So you're suggesting that we go ahead and approve this today or table
So
it till?
my suggestion is that it only needs your signature to approve this. If we get more money, we send it in. If we don't, for $3,000, I don't think it's worth it. But at least, we will have it signed. And if we submit it, then great. The kids will still be serviced though. They will still have the resources that we have. They give clothing. I mean, there's an abundance of resources, but it's really never through the migrant, because the program only pays for the liaison, for the salary.
You said May 22nd?
Correct.
We should have a board meeting on the 19th, right?
Yes.
I'll wait till then.
Or you just wanna go ahead and,
Or sign it and then either send it or don't.
I don't know if you have any questions about that.
I don't know if this is any relation to that. So we're servicing these kids with or without the grant, but we don't get to count these kids on the count day because they're, right?
No, we do get to count them, whether, if they are here for the 40th, the 80th. Most of the time, they're not here for the 120th. But what they do is they give us an average of the 80th and the 120th. So they're either here for the 80th and then usually not for the 120th, so we still get an average. But they will still be serviced, and, that's not the issue. The only thing is that the money is being lowered.
And it's just primarily for the liaison and some instructional materials.
It's practically, what do we pay, Jolene? Just the liaison, right?
I thought we did summer school.
We did
last year.
summer school last year because we had carryover money. And then, the plan is to do it again this year. We only have like 2 weeks of summer school. I mean, we can continue. I don't, that's okay. I just don't think it's enough.
And we've always just paid a percentage of someone's salary. You can't increase it anyway because that's supplanting. And it's just for supplementing. So I've never tried to increase a percentage.
Any other questions? I don't know.
I don't know how to make this motion.
We
Make the motion to approve it pending on the dollar amounts on the grant.
On the dollar amount of the grant, yes,
And my budget is due on May 22nd.
22nd.
Approval by Trevor
I'll second.
for additional funds, though, right?
Yeah.
Any additional funds?
So just out of curiosity, what limit, you'd be like, okay, this is worth signing?
Last year, they only gave us $8,000, but I guess, it was okay to at least pay the 25% of the liaison salary. Again, in the past, we've used operation to be able to pay part of her salary. This year, because we have community schools, and Ms. Parra is also doing community schools, so then we were able to use 75% of that and 25% of this grant. But, this year with $3,000, I don't think it's going to, it won't, I don't think it will even do maybe 10%.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Although it's better than nothing though. $3,000 is better than
Going
nothing.
towards something, right?
Mm-hmm,
It potentially could help.
okay.
Item G, Permian Basin Collaborative CTE Initiative.
Okay, so this one you do have it, and it's the Valley Rural Collaborative Memorandum of Understanding. So with this one here, I'm requesting approval so that we can sign the MOU with the Permian Basin Collaborative. So again, this partnership will allow the Hagerman schools to work alongside the Valley schools with Lake Arthur and Dexter, as well as ENMU, to expand career and technical CTE, of course, courses and more opportunities for the kids. So this is it's already been signed by superintendent from Lake Arthur, and then also from Dr. Powell. And you don't have to sign this, so basically I have to sign it, and I'm just, asking for approval so that I can sign the MOU.
This agreement remains in effect till when?
It's on a yearly basis. Mhm. So just to remind you, Dexter will be offering medical field. Lake Arthur will be offering educational courses, and we will be offering, it's kind of like a Google certificate. So we will have kids from Dexter coming here. If our kids are interested in the medical field, they will go to Dexter, and then the same thing with Lake Arthur.
Did y'all figure out transportation yet?
So we actually, and then tomorrow, Mr. Parker, Cody, and myself, we will be having a meeting with Jenna McKinley, the lady that came in here and do the presentation. The plan is to be able to have, one of the Suburbans and be able to transport kids. Lake Arthur, they might have a bus, and then if there's kids going to Dexter, they'll stop here and drop off the kids that want to come here, and then they'll keep going. Dexter will do the same thing. So basically, we might not even need the transportation itself, because we're like right in the middle. And however, we will not pay for the transportation. It's paid through the Permian Basin. And I just think it's great opportunities for our kids. It opens broader
And
opportunities.
this is for our juniors and seniors?
So actually, even freshmen.
Oh, really?
So freshmen, sophomores,
yeah.
juniors, and seniors, yes.
But again, they'd have to all be going that first period you were saying?
Yes, it has to be during the first period. And all three schools will be, we're trying to work out, because Dexter, they actually have a block schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be kind of difficult. So tomorrow, the lady, Jenna McKinley, will be here, and we'll be discussing more options.
Any other questions? Okay, just the motion. I'll make a motion by Dusty. Also. Second by Chris.
Thank you. I will sign it and send it to them. Thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item H, science book adoption.
A-Rod.
I'm here. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the board, President Moss, it is time for science curriculum adoption. Back, I don't know. We'll go based off of sports season. So back during basketball season, we went to a showcase for different curriculum for science at different levels, all the way from elementary to junior high to high school. Myself, Cody, and the two science teachers, Ms. Kwame and Mr. Molina, all went, and we kind of divided and went to different presentations for Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, Savis, which is through Pearson, and Glencoe McGraw-Hill. And after discussing the different options that we had with the other teachers, we felt that Savis was the best way to go. I have several quotes here for you guys. I know it says 9 through 12 at the first with kits, but this is also going to include the middle school. So if we walk through this, that first one right there, it says Earth. That's going to be your integrated middle school curriculum. So depending on how these are structured, how the teacher wants to present them, one grade can have earth science. The next grade could have, I believe, life science and then physical science, or you can kind of rotate them and go through different parts of the book throughout the school year and integrate it that way. So the first thing, you get your textbook, or it's like a workbook plus your 6-year digital. So a lot of stuff is on a digital platform, and so it'll have the exact same copy of the textbook. It'll be able to be translated into different lessons, and then it'll have different activities and stuff like that you can go through. So the first one is earth science for middle school. Then you have chemistry, that'll be at the high school level, physics at the high school level, And what we have on this one is not only the teachers editions, but the materials kit. And that is more pricey, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I feel it's essential, especially for our teachers. They're young teachers, and when I was in that classroom, I was able to go in and kind of see what we had in place and get creative and kind of bounce ideas off of Coach Crandall and the teachers before me. And with these two young ones, it's a little bit more difficult. So if we have those materials in place, I think it's going to help them a whole lot more than if they had to kind of get creative. The next little part on the next page are professional development sessions. So one will be how to implement this with fidelity and what it looks like, and the other one is going to be what the platform looks like and how the teacher can use the platform and the tools that are on the platform. And the same thing down there is the Savvis 6 integrated is going to help incorporate some strategies into the classroom at the middle school level. The next is what the kits look like, and that'll be for the middle school level kits. And then, like I said, life science on the next page, that's another middle school level course. And then the biology on there, so that covers all our subjects that we offer and have enough teachers for. Middle school level and teachers guides that are on here as well. The next quote is this exact same thing, except it eliminates those kits. And that's on the next, I believe, 6 pages. If you go to the next set of quotes, it'll have the elementary curriculum on there. There are 2 quotes. One is for kindergarten through 5th grade, and then the other one is for just 3rd through 5th grade, their prices and the differences. One thing that I do like is that everything's reading-based investigation, so it's tough for elementary teachers to find the time to do science with fidelity. We only have one teacher, maybe 1.5 that I can think of that does that. Or at least I know does that because she tells me about the cool experiments that she does in her class all the time. But currently, they just implement it when possible, if there's time or if there's a fun day. So there's not a true science implementation going on at the elementary. There are things available. So like the Maker's Kit is available, and they can go in there and do it in that STEM lab. But like I said, not every single teacher takes advantage of that. We do have physics in a box, but that would take, a structure in place and collaboration and training that we really don't have time for, but it is available. So the question is this done with fidelity? If we had this, maybe this would allow for protected time. If we go to, I know one of the discussion items on here is a 4-day school week, and so that might extend classroom hours, which might give protected time for science to be implemented in the elementary. I think it's really important. I know students really like it, and I am kind of biased when it comes to that just because I've taught it for so long. But I feel if we can get it in there, it'd be a good place to start. Talking with, I know Tori, and then I even asked Alex, because he used to teach at the elementary, like if you had these materials, would you use it more than, whatever else you had? And he said, yeah, for sure. It gives a little bit more structure than what they're used to. Going back to the high school, I really like this textbook because it's focused and it's geared towards project-based learning. That's one thing that I told the science team when we were looking for materials is look for something that can, be related to project-based learning. And I feel like this does. It goes with the 5E model. So they engage, they explore, they explain, they elaborate, and then they evaluate. And it's completely like this is aligned with NGSS. I know the science curriculum that we had kind of came out when NGSS was implemented, and to sell textbooks, they're like, oh yeah, of course we're aligned with the new science standards. They weren't, and I feel that this one does a better job. It has this anchoring phenomenon. It requires them to go in investigations. It has those cross-cutting concepts that NGSS demands. It goes in there, with the explain. It's all student learning. Students do the lifting. They have to go in and investigate it, conduct experiments, and then the elaborate. That's where you can connect it with the projects. So there's an overall, overarching project that you might, but you're only focusing on a part of it. So if you're doing a molecule, a project about a molecule, it'll build up to that, and you'll have to say, okay, this is the atom that's in the molecule. This is the compound that can be found in the molecule. These are the bonds that are in this molecule. And so it kind of builds off of that. And then it provides professional development. It has digital tools online and the ability to be translated into Spanish. So I think it checks a lot of boxes for us. And like I said, those material kits just make it a little bit easier for the teacher that everything's right there and ready to go. You guys can look at the price. It is pretty pricey, and I kind of feel bad because my 2 sections, I'm just asking for a whole lot of money. But it's really going to help out these kids, I believe.
Is there any way to get this $12,000 shipping and handling charge down?
You gonna go pick it up? Well, we could.
I'll be free shipping.
And you know,
If we buy enough, maybe. Yeah.
A-Rod, and I think we do have to go through Archway from Albuquerque, so
Okay.
I believe that they do not have the, I'm not sure if they waive the shipping and handling, so we definitely, this quote will change significantly because it is a lot, PED contracts with Archway, so it will be much, much less.
So A-Rod, are you suggesting option 1 with the kids and the K through 5?
You know, that would be my best bet. You know, I know we definitely need to address the older kids in elementary, just because that's 5th grade is a grade that is tested. They have to take the ASR test, and I feel that if we can at least incorporate it 3rd through 5th, that's definitely important. But if we're going to do it for 3 through 5, why not start at a younger age? I know, and I don't know, Tori can probably jump in here. I know she does a lot trying to get these kids doing investigations and pique their interest in things that aren't, just math and reading. And I know that she would use it with fidelity. Do you think the lower grades would use it? I know did I give you kindergarten or 1st grade to look at, Tori?
Kindergarten. You gave me kindergarten.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think part of it is if we don't have the resources, it's hard to, because then you're scrambling to go find things. I think if we have it, I think it'll get used for sure.
Especially if it comes with some convenience.
Especially if it comes with, like, we used to get some kits from, Ms. Reyes, where do we get those kits from? Do you remember? The
Denmark.
co-op?
It was
Remember the co-op had them, but I don't remember what the company was.
Denmark, I think.
Whenever they sent those, it was easy because you got the tub and everything was in there, and you just pulled out the teacher's manual, and it had beakers, it had all the materials you needed to teach that. And we returned them what we could reuse, like they'd send a scale and then we would return it. And when we did that, science was taught every single day. It was nice. I know a big part of that was we had to return materials, and we weren't always the best at returning the materials, and so that part of it kind of felt, but I do think if we have it and we have all of it, it's easier to do than if you have pieces of it.
So right now, elementary does have Simplify Science. We purchased that for K through 5 last summer. We have that good for 3 years. We did look at some K through 5 science curriculums outside of this. Tori was on that, Ms. Montserrat, Ms. Mahan was on that. And one of the things that was discussed was Simplify Science was good, and it was simple. It wasn't a bunch of stuff, but one thing we needed to fill out was to build all the kits. And so that was kind of the plan, and will be in my budget going into this year of here's the cost for all the kits that have all the labs in that. And so
I think the problem we have with that is funding though, because PET isn't gonna approve of us buying materials. PET will approve a portion of it.
They have to be high quality materials.
So they'll approve of materials?
So
If we buy oil.
They will approve materials if, for example, when A-Rod and Cody and, everybody who went to that training If Simplify Science was part of their curriculum, then yes. If it wasn't part of it, then no.
It's not an approved. It's not on the adopted
It's
list.
not on the adopted.
It's, so if, no, then it will not.
I really like Simplify Science, it's really good, but we don't have the materials, that's the hard part.
And it's expensive to buy.
I don't think it's expensive.
No, it's not expensive.
It's actually super cheap for considering
What it
what it
is.
provides. It really
It'll be
is
cheaper
the,
than what we're gonna pay to buy all that.
the only thing that is we're gonna have to buy the materials to, like, so for example, like if I pull up a lesson right now, it's gonna ask me to have foil, beaker, and we don't have those things. So then what happens is teachers don't teach because they're having to go buy all that stuff out of their pocket.
Would it be better though to have the curriculum all the way through K through 12?
Yes,
the
I think
same
so.
as it would be.
And that's what, that's what we are trying to do, because when they come to the, they start sixth grade, they have no knowledge, no science knowledge, and it needs to start early.
Having taught seventh grade science last year, that was a pretty eye-opening thing, because I expected them to know a lot of stuff, and they looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah, and in my experience, anytime they say, "Oh, I know that we did this one thing this one time back in second grade," or "We did this one thing this one time back in fourth grade," so they have very small amount of exposure to different topics that we expect them to know by the time they reach us.
And we do have instructional materials, monies that we get every year. We might,
93,000.
we might have to, lower some of the amounts here, but we just have to look at it. But we definitely need to make sure. Now, PED, they do keep a log, and we have to do a report every year, and they keep track of the high-quality materials that the schools are using.
Is this high quality?
This is, yes. The Simplify that they're using right now, it's not.
And then
It's good.
there's
No, it's
earmark.
good.
It's just
It
not,
is high
it's not
quality.
labeled high
It is
quality.
just not recognized on the state list of approved. So,
It follows the NGSS standards. It
Yes.
follows the same standards that the other curriculum, it's just not a,
Vetted one.
it's not a state approved one. That's all.
Now, the only thing is that we don't want to buy materials and just sit on the shelf. So they need to be done, and this is, K through K5.
There's
It has to be
one
implemented.
for the teachers in science, so.
Isn't there money that's already earmarked for like textbooks and all that?
Yes.
yes.
So is this taking up all of that?
So right now we have, what did you say,
They gave us
93?
93,400 or something like that
Yeah, it's not
for the
gonna,
year.
if we went with both kits.
Yeah, we probably have to,
we're about 150.
I
A-Rod,
don't know what they base that.
So what I figured is you said 93,000.
yes.
So right now that would be no kits and just the third through fifth grade curriculum that we could get. I have that at 84. I don't know what shipping and handling would be like, and I don't know what it'd look like going through. I can't remember whatever Miss Ray says. I can't remember the
Archway.
Archway. I
Yes.
want to call it Applegate. I don't know why, but Archway.
Our current textbook from our last adoption was from 2007 for the elementary.
Yes.
2007 is the last time we purchased a curriculum for science for elementary. That has textbooks and all the materials.
And so our science is pretty outdated as well, because when we did adoption, we skipped a cycle because we had Summit and we thought that was going to be enough. And then we got rid of Summit and we missed our science adoption the last cycle. So our science curriculum is out of date right now.
And potentially if we did do this one, we'd have to wait another 7 years, I think.
Correct.
So if we say no now, it's 7 more years without science.
So
Current
what we
science.
do is we can look at this and then see where we can do some cutting. I don't think we're gonna bring it down to the 93,000 that we have allotted, so we might even have to use some operational money for this. But I think, if we don't have the materials, then nothing will be taught.
If we had material or the kits for the younger
Mhm.
kids, would that be better than the high school kids?
I would honestly say yes. That would make it easier for those elementary teachers to get the materials that they need. like I said, it's just a easy thing for the secondary level. You know, if I can make it work, I know they can make it work. But just trying to look out for the young teachers and help them the best way that I can, and that's to have those materials, those kits ready to go.
I think when you're prepping for 5 subjects, it's tough when you're having to really plan in detail when you don't have all the materials. So I think the elementary for sure needs to have the kids if we're gonna get it, because that's the hard part.
Does that change the pricing though, if the elementary had the kids?
And then the kids we have to order every year, right, to
Yeah.
replenish them?
Yeah, I'm
Well, there
assuming
might
K
just
through
be
5
certain
isn't capable
things,
of
like,
You'd have to go in and just kind of take stock on what you used and what you didn't use, and kind of evaluate it based off of you know, if we had like a science pull-out teacher for the elementary, that'd be the best.
A-Rod, right? The K through 5 doesn't come with the kits.
I'm not exactly sure on this quote. I don't know if that's under the optional products because they don't really have a description. And then it does have additional materials, but it says, experience classroom materials kit grade 1. And then maybe that's something that we change because it has 2. Maybe we just get 1 and we make them partner up. Maybe we could cut some costs there. So if you look at the K through 5 quote on the back of on page 2 of 4, where is it at? About 6th, 7th item down. Materials kit grade 1, materials kit grade 5, and there's 2 of them. Maybe we do 1 and the teachers really focus on collaboration, and you do partners or you do groups.
I think we went to amplify the kits were geared for like 40 kids, so I don't think we need 2.
No.
Per grade. I think it was like 40, it would be enough for 40 kids, so.
And so if we just start nickel and diming and find pieces that work for us and pieces that don't.
There's definitely ways that you can, like you referred to, you can nickel and dime and trim it, depending on, because they're going to have a lot of different parts. But like Ms. Rodriguez said, if their kits are for 40 kids, well, we don't need more than 1 per grade. Outside of 4th grade, everybody else is less than 40. So
and really, that's the only grade
try to trim it to where it can fit within the budget that we need.
And another thing that we could probably do is maybe even drop the amount to 30, and Ms. Reyes might be able to jump in, maybe not 30, but maybe 35, and then as needed start to buy books as that 4th grade class starts to progress through middle school and into high school, because that's really our outlier. 35 seats would more than cover every other class with the exception of that 4th grade class. So, once they got to 6th grade in a couple of years, then maybe, okay, we got to go order maybe 4 more books. And then the next year, just keep ordering, or even maybe just seats on the online platform. I don't know what that looks like, but, to cover everybody until the next adoption, 40 is the way to go. But maybe we can just, and I don't know, Ms. Reyes, if that would cost too much to do it a year at a time or what?
You're looking at a $42,000 difference from the 93 if you got
Yes.
everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where would those funds come from, our operational stuff? Or-
A difference of the 93 from the 93. So we have 93 from the instructional materials. The rest of it would have to come from the operational. But there's a lot that we can actually cut. Did you look into the digital format, the platform? Just going.
Now I don't know if it has purely digital. I don't know. That's one thing that we've discussed the science teachers and myself, a lot of things are digital, and that's a good thing to have. But at the same time, you know, we don't want to just have that available. You know, if we're doing something in the lab, we don't want labs in there. Maybe you take the book in there. You know, I don't know. I know I'm kind of traditional, and I'd like to get these kids off the screen at times, and then at the other time, that's the way it's going. That's the way the world's going. That's the way education's going. Is everything's going digital. So I don't know if that's an option that we look at or not.
When do we have to have a decision? Does this have to be made and approved by tonight, or?
So actually, my recommendation is, no, it does not have to be approved by tonight. So my recommendation is that we table this, and then A-Rod will contact Archway, and that way we can see the difference. The difference in price, and then we can have it approved by the May meeting.
I think it's best to have the K through 12, whatever, if we can make that.
I agree with you.
So try to work on a price that fits that K through 12 across the board, and it works for us and works price wise too.
Yes.
I mean, the difference right now is $40-something thousand. So if we could narrow that down, that would be way better.
And I think we can, because if you do 35, maybe we can go that way. Because most of our classes are really not big.
Will those companies work with you?
They will.
Can you say, we got 93, if you can give us it all, we'll buy it from you. If not, we're going with HUH.
No, we are not.
We are not, but we are
Yeah, I
telling
was
them
gonna
that.
say, if you could do that.
Now we're doing simplify science.
Yes, simplify science.
You know, I've got that 166,000 increase in the SEG. I could put like in
Instruction.
even general supplies for some of those workbooks and extra things.
I wouldn't
And
mind
pay
doing
the
that, but
textbooks out of instruction
I
materials.
still think we need to see what our best option is gonna be though.
I totally agree. So maybe if we can table it until May, are you okay with that, A-Rod?
Yeah, I think as long as we get this in before the fiscal year ends, and we get a little bit more information. I know it's a lot of money.
When's the fiscal end?
Actually June 30th, but it starts July 1st. So we can't use this materials, can we, until June 1st, the 93,000?
Yeah.
I mean,
we need
until
to use
July?
it.
Until July, or we need to?
We need to use it. That's this
You
year's
gotta
money.
use it
Okay,
this
so
year.
then,
This is the year for science adoption. So
So we're gonna decide May to use
So it really needs to be probably approved next month,
yes.
so that the order can be put in, money can be spent out, and they can start delivering it.
And they'll have it by August.
yeah,
Yeah, sure.
they should have it in by then. I know the middle school curriculum is brand new. This edition that they have is I think they said copyright. The copyright's actually gonna be 2025. So middle school is brand spanking new, and fully updated. And then high schools, I think the copyright is 2023, maybe 2024, something like that. So it's up to date.
Because they're telling them like 60 days to ship on some of this stuff. They want you to get it in the 1st of May, so you can get it in before school starts.
$12,000, we should get like overnight.
It should be like, it should be like 1 hour.
Dusty will go pick it up, right?
They should be packaged individually.
Have you want to bring it over?
Yeah.
We'll go out of state travel for.
Yeah. Where's it at?
For the board president to take the actual 40
Quantities are about 150 a piece average, so drop that. There's 7 of them, 7 line items in here with 40. It's not fair. That's just,
If we need it earlier, we can do it with the board meeting, and approve whatever we come up with.
Yeah, whenever you'll get the
Early if we
the
need
numbers.
to, that's okay.
Yeah, we could do it next Monday because district. Well, that's a terrible idea, Chris. I didn't say it was a good idea. I move to table this item until the next meeting.
Moved by
Second.
Trevor. Second by Dusty. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion's been tabled. Okay. All right, track and field, A-Rod.
All right, guys. So, I don't know what you guys are looking at first. If you got the quote or the schematic or the email that I got from Hellas, but we wanted to go out for capital outlay on this. Hellas said that it's going to cost a whole lot, and so we asked for a whole lot. When the BSN rep came and talked to me, again, we'll go back in basketball season. I'm not sure when, but sometime in basketball season. He's like, what else do you need? And he's like, we can do it all. And he always pitches me that we can do picnic tables, whatever. I was like, well, can you guys resurface tracks? And he's like, oh yeah, we could do that. I was like, yeah, for how much? He's like, I don't know, but I'll get you a quote. And so he got me a quote, and Ms. Reyes had said that there was some money available that we could possibly use to resurface the track and get it done. Well, one of his quotes was close to that dollar amount that Reyes had told me, and it included all the work that Hellas was going to do, adding the D-rings, moving the pits from basically the bleachers to on the field, and expanding the high jump area and redoing the pole vault pit. So if you look at that rendering, that's what it's going to look like. On the west end, there's going to be 3 pits for long jump and triple jump, and then on the east end, you can see the outline for pole vault, and we'll put a high jump mat there somewhere as well. So the price he quote today with all that stuff, the first part is the resurfacing of the current track, the striping, the painting. I don't know if you guys got color copies or black and white, but the exchange zones are going to be colored, so you know exactly where the exchange zones are, and then add the D-rings in there with 3 pits, and the pole vault box in there as well, and significantly less than what Ellis quoted us at, so doable.
Can you color the whole thing green?
Hey, I would love that. I bet it's going to cost a whole lot more. I was not in favor of a green track, and then Coach Alex sent me a picture of one, and I think it'd be pretty cool.
I think me and you talked football season, but you'll have to move the goalposts and everything with this rendering, right?
Yeah, so what's going to happen is we're going to have to shift basically the football field to the east a little bit. Our press box isn't centered anyways, but it's going to be way off center right now. So that might be something that has to be addressed in the future. And actually, like kind of what we have going right now isn't too bad. It's just going to be at a weird, funky angle. And all the angles at that field are just crazy. So it's nothing that we're not used to. But I think it would work.
The bleachers on the north end look more centered now if you moved it than they did before.
And maybe that's what we do. Maybe just flip. That's the home side now, and we get the good look, and then we make the visitors have to camp out on our concrete.
We do the old Fort Sumner trick. I like it.
Yeah, except not with the players, but just with the
fans. Yeah.
So if you approve this, we will be using some bond money. And I think we still you have the amount that we have from the first bond that we haven't used on.
I don't know.
I think it was
This is the first I'm hearing of this, so I don't know.
It was the 300 and something, I believe, that we still have bond. And then we also have some operational funds. So our operational funds right now, stand about 2.6, I believe. And if we don't use them, then we also have the risk of losing them.
Giving it back.
When you spend it all.
Well, probably not everything, because we still have to have some carryover. But at least, at these projects that we need, definitely, because the track, it's needed. It's really needed.
It is. Did he say how long it would take him, Mayron?
It just depends on when we got this approved. I told him if this was approved, I'd work on a requisition first thing in the morning, and then hopefully I don't know how long it'd take to get pushed through, but once it got pushed through, we'd contact him, and I said that we'd be ready to get started on May 19th if they were willing to. He said the longer we wait, the more jobs they get that pile up, and then that just puts us lower and lower down. So if we can get this done quick, he said they can probably get it done quicker. The later we push it, the later they get it done, and then it cuts into football season.
But do they have a general time frame of how long it would take them to actually do the work?
The guy I was talking with couldn't tell me exactly what was going on. He didn't know. He's like, maybe anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, I think is what he said. So he broke it down. He said he knows about 2 weeks for all the supplies and materials to get here, and then another 2 weeks for something, and then they start working on it and painting it and stuff like that. Anywhere from 4 to 8.
What do you think, Miss Jolene?
We might have to get permission, when we went before the voters and we went out for that bond, I'm pretty sure football field wasn't on there. I think the last bond, it was architecture fees and that sort of thing, which we've been doing out of that. So I don't know if they would consider.
So it was
I just don't know.
concession stand and not just
I don't think it's
concession.
specific though.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Construction, right?
specific to
Wasn't it
anything
just
specific. I
full
think it said
construction?
construction at the football field.
Right.
Something to look at to see for sure.
And you said we already have 400 available?
I think it's somewhere around there.
So.
And the other bond's fixing to drop too in May 9th.
Well, if it's not specific to what you use it for,
Well, I think the problem is what we've told voters on, is what Ms. Jones said.
Yeah.
If we were real specific, because there was a time when we said we were gonna do the carport over here with Mr. Williams, and we did a lot later, because a previous
We were behind on
superintendent
projects.
promised that one. But there are things like that.
Yeah.
But I know we put a lot of improvements into the football field on those
Correct.
bonds. Which we've done the press box and the concession.
In the concession. And the roof.
I'd like to ask them first before we commit to something like that, and then,
yeah. Well, I agree.
because it's not just one guy that we have to answer to, it's a whole board and all of it. I mean, I don't want to get messed up when we're fixing to build that building.
Yeah, let's keep them happy. Yeah, that's true. So what do you?
Well, if we do this and we resurface this, I know a lot of the people out there will definitely approve of this just because they use it too. You have people in the community going at the track in the morning and the evening using this, and there are significant issues. If it's not track season, it's not football season, and we have kids going out there and messing stuff up, or the weather tearing divots in the track. It just stays like that until we need to fix it to prep for football. We need to fix it to prep for track. So it becomes a hazard. And if we get this done right, not only is it going to look nice, but it's going to be smooth. It's going to be flat. There's not going to be holes. There's not going to be cracks. It's going to be softer. It's going to be easier on your feet. So
We definitely need to take care of it, right?
Yeah, no, I think we find out if we can use her for that, if we can do it.
So do we need to table this though?
Pending approval from,
To see what that bond.
Or we need to make a motion to approve this pending,
bond approval.
pending board approval?
That'd work.
Because it needs to be done. I
Yeah.
don't want to get us in a bind either.
Yeah.
I have no problem with this at all, but I just want to make sure that the funding is okay. And I don't think that would take very long to find out.
No, I don't think so.
So I'll make the motion to approve pending bond.
By Dusty. To approve pending bond approval,
Bond use approval,
or bond use.
use, bond,
2023.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Second by Trevor.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay. Motion carries.
thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Next item J is sidewalk construction, White Rock construction.
Okay, and on this one, there's a possibility that you might not want to go for this, so we do have a preventative maintenance plan that we need to make sure that we comply. And I just want to address that, and I'm sure you have seen how, the conditions of the sidewalks between the elementary and the high school. So they're badly cracked. I mean, they're just creating significant hazard, safety hazards, and it's just a matter of time before an accident occurs. So, I mean, I know and I recognize that the issue should have been addressed, at least a decade ago. I don't understand why it hasn't been, maybe there was just no funds, but it hasn't been done. But it is critical that something, gets done. Now, the question here is, we are in the process of getting a new school. So I contacted Decker, when actually they were here last week, the architects, and I asked them if it was something that I should even pursue doing. I mean, again, because of that's on our preventative maintenance plan, that they need to be done. The construction will not happen, probably another 3 years for the new school. So we still have, it's something that it really needs to be done, because again, like I say, it's an accident bound to happen. So I have 3 bids, actually a couple of bids there. One of them is, so I asked them to be able to do the concrete, from the high school all the way to by the marquee sign. And then, he gave me a quote, and this is the White Rock Construction, and the quote was for 50, and you'll see like it's the third one, like for $53,000. But that was just the sidewalk. And then I did a walkthrough with the constructor, and then I just showed him, I said, well, this needs to be done. I mean, there's a lot of concrete that it's already kind of, lifted. And he gave me another quote for $93,696. If you look at the one in the middle, there's one for $214,355. That was from another company, Robert Cohen Company. This one, it was just extremely, extremely high. I think and I did talk to Decker, and for what we need right now, the $53,000 should be more than sufficient, and that is just the sidewalk. I mean, especially going down towards the, the elementary on that side. by the marquee sign, they're pretty bad. They are pretty bad. So now the question is, we've dealt with this for 10 or plus years. We can leave it another 3, and let's just hope that no accidents happen. Or if you like, we can try to get that fixed.
There's still a lot of design work, right, with our school drop off and all that stuff.
There's gonna be some. Now, I did talk to the guy from Decker, and he said that it should not affect, much. There might be part of it. So, I mean, we can.
We talked about annexing this road in and having a different entrance stuff. I mean, is that still on the table?
It's still.
So that would affect all of that concrete.
Correct. So
Otherwise,
again,
there'll be
we can just, we've had it like that for a long time. We can just leave it.
Is there a way for them to come out and patch or repair it without ripping it all out?
It's pretty bad.
I'm saying, but instead of just ripping it out and replacing it, is there any way to?
We grind off the
Just
high
level it.
spots, can we tear out those small parts and re-concrete them?
I can talk to the constructor and see if there's something else that he can do, being that we are getting the new school. And no hurry with this, I just wanted to bring it up to your attention. It's something that,
The problem is that those tree roots are uplifted. And until those trees are gone, that's just gonna happen again.
so that was another question that, another discussion that I had with Juan Dorado from Decker, and he asked me if we were keeping those trees. And I don't think we need to I don't think we need to keep them because, it's a burden for the custodians and they're just a mess and they're pretty old. But I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, if we want to keep them, if we keep them, it's just going to continue, with because it's the roots that are affecting this sidewalk.
Yeah, I don't know about taking them out till they get the new school built, because some of those roots might go into the building, so. If we go to take them out now, it might
be part of
take some of the foundation with it.
It'll be part of the demolished.
Yeah. I'm not partial to them. Crap all over vehicles.
And I totally understand that this is a lot of money and, it might be money that we probably will not get back.
Yeah. That's my only problem with it. And maybe there's just some things we could do to kind of fix some of that stuff.
Just kind of patch, a little bend-aid.
Yeah, grinding some of that down or jackhammering out some and just making it flow instead of trip hazards.
I will talk to him and see what, if there's anything that they can do and bring the cost down.
This is an action item?
Well, I had it, yes, to approve that, but it does not, you can just table it until we get a different quote and, just for the patching and see what we could do.
Okay. I will make that motion to table this item.
Second to table till later date. Is that good?
Yes.
Just later date, we don't have to do it next week. Second by Christie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Let's go table. Next item is discussion around contracting quality janitorial.
On this one here, I would prefer to have this discussion because it involves personnel. And I would prefer to have the discussion during the executive session.
Do you have any documentation?
There's no documentation. I have a,
Have you gotten a quote?
yes, I have the quote.
What's the cost of that?
So the cost, it will be,
I guess what's the specifics? How many days a week do they plan to do it?
so yes, So the plan is to have quality janitorial come in and they gave me a quote, it's $579 per visit, and that would be a total of 180 days per year. So that gives us a total of $104,220.
Somebody gonna be staffed here all the time? Or it's just
We will
after
have,
hours?
yes, we will have one in each building.
And they don't like come in full force after hours and clean the whole building?
So the plan is, what they do is they come in from 4 to 8. And then they tackle the entire building.
Any other discussion? Calculator.
And you don't have to approve anything on this one. I'll put it on,
It's 104,228 for the year,
104,220. Well, I have, yeah.
for the 180 days.
Mhm.
But you'll need some for the summer too, though, right?
Actually, we might not, because if we keep the 3 custodians, 1 in each building, then, they can tackle the summer work.
So you'd have a custodian, our own custodian in every building, plus like
These
these guys.
Correct.
Okay.
So currently, we have, if we go this route, 3 custodians, that would give us a total of $115,515. Plus the 104,220 for quality janitorial, that gives us a total of $219,720.15. Currently, the custodial salary and benefits equals to $298,586.62.
$298,562.
$298,586.62. Plus a 4%,
Custodians, if we keep them, then 4%.
oh, that's right, plus the 4% raise.
In addition to that, or we're gonna add 4%.
I think I heard.
From my thing.
Will they do the stadium?
Yes, so, because they don't have to clean the classrooms, the 3 that we will have, 1 in each building, so they have to get together and they will have to go, like right after breakfast, they will have to go clean, all 3 of them will go clean the cafeteria. All 3 will clean the cafeteria again, after lunch. And then all 3 of them will go do the stadium.
And the gyms,
And the gyms will be done by quality.
even after games and stuff.
We might have to have one of these ladies or whoever, stay and be able to help out. Again, it's not an action item right now. I just wanted to have some discussion on that and then.
We don't supply supplies or anything, do we?
Actually,
Besides for our own.
yeah, so there's, You know what, I will have Mr. Parker go get a copy. Can you make copies of these, Alan, so that they can have it and then they can read it? But I know that, of course, we probably have to pay our supplies because I don't think that they'll be making, much money, but they do bring their own equipment. So that's, yes. Ontario Parker. Ontario Parker.
No, she's next. It's the same as the move on, but he's next. But he was next.
Oh, okay, that's okay, that's okay. That's okay, he can work on that. So, basically, what I wanted to, is just a discussion and, just give you the good news. So capital outlay, they appropriated $576,000, and you do have the list. And this list right here has, all of the projects that, capital outlay, they are funding. Some of the projects were actually vetoed by the governor, and ours is still there. So we are very grateful that we got this money, $576,000. We will probably see it sometime in maybe July, August. And then, but Parker is already looking for some bids, so that we can build the construction of the ag farm. So that basically this one is just for you to see what, it's a significant amount of money.
Pretty nice.
My question would be, could we utilize it to be closer to our new building? We could acquire some land.
You know what, maybe over here on this side.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Okay, so since you're here now. Now, the only thing is that this side, okay, so just, and I was gonna talk about it in a little bit, but this side, we had discussion about building, we qualified to get like a track, right?
Not a full one, but like a 4-lane,
Like a PE track.
like a PE track and some fields, like some practice fields within that. So there'll be like areas for the kids to play kickball,
And then like a walking,
Soccer,
how the kids, they have walking,
like a walking path.
Where is this on relative to where we are?
right here.
Where we're
yes.
sitting.
Right here. I
Correct.
thought they couldn't do anything.
We can't build construction there, but we can use it as like a
field.
like a recreation. Like
Yeah.
a
They
Recreation.
don't recommend building anything within 150 feet of the railroad track,
Right.
is what they say.
But, so what they're asking if the ag farm could be built.
In the
How
summer.
nice would that be? Since it will not be,
It would be nice, yeah. I don't know what the requirements are, cause we were given that property, and so I don't know what the rules are, like, yeah. I mean, we got the $574,000 for a 76 for a barn. This was kind of a project Ms. Reyes and I talked about. I've been struggling trying to get the other side of the property. We do have some younger kids coming up that are wanting to show that aren't capable. Two of you on the board, you guys are raising show animals, you kind of know.
What about the smell?
So between them and the gamers, we're gonna have a problem.
You guys know to raise quality show animals, for the most part, other than goats and sheep, they're raised inside these days. There's, ever since that property, I guess, before my time here, they've been always talking about building a barn out there. Ms. Reyes had approached me about applying for capital outlay for this, creating a project. I was not expecting us to get it. I was actually expecting all of our other projects to get it, or get it selected over this one. Spence had approached me at Eastern Fair and talked a little bit about it, and throughout the year, she's kind of talked to me about it, and so they approved this capital funding. Really what they're looking for is creating an environment where we can grow our SAE projects. Heck, if it was right here, that'd be way much nicer. Instead of driving 3 miles down the road to check animals, I can do it right after school, or work with kids and actually take kids over there. My ultimate vision of an ag farm is being able to raise animals for animal science and teach kids that whole side of things. That's a little impossible going 3 miles down the road, but no, I'm open to it. I mean, we have that 20 acres over there. I don't know what the stipulations of that use of that farm property is, how it was given to us, donated to us. Like, I don't know if we can sell it. Like, I don't know.
You have water rights there? Like, you have water?
At one point, I was thought we did. There is a well there. I don't think there's water. Trevor's shaking his head, so I had asked.
And electricity.
There is electricity out there.
You probably got city water right there.
There's city water, we have current
I know
water out
there's a
there.
line right there, but you'd have to tap in, like that part of it's gonna be expensive.
It's already tapped in.
Like there's already a water meter there?
Mhm.
2-inch line.
Yeah, I already have water out there.
Gas will probably have, you know.
Probably, if we were to do any type of gas out there, we'd have to go with propane. Same with the sewer system, we'd have to have septic, things like that. I did the White Rock construction that has reached out to Ms. Reyes, they were kind of looking for projects. And so I've been waiting on kind of a quote from them, kind of see what their gauge is. I kind of took them out there and said, this is my envision, this is what I would love to see of a dream facility. And so kind of laid it out of a show barn with an opportunity for kids to raise projects, cattle scales, small animal scales, things like that, to incorporate that way some of our families that aren't able to purchase these items or things like that are showing in our community can show and raise animals, and be more inclusive with the county fair, Eastern Fair, state fair, things like that. Right now, kind of the envision I told them was a 40 by 60 barn. That's what, before my time, Jesus Trujillo had started with the plan, and then Cody tried with that, and then at one point we were told no, we're gonna build a Mueller building, things like that, and it's kind of fallen and sat there. I worked on it quite a bit last summer. I got a lot of the poles in the ground for an out pin type system. Never got to welding it. It's tough for me to go out there and spend my day, and can't take 15, 20 kids out there to supervise them with one gas welder. That's my personal welder. So I think this is a great opportunity. I'm looking forward to it, but no, I'm open to all ideas and this, like we're just in the planning phase of it, so.
I think another thing we'd have to look into though is if we had a show barn here, would the city would they have any kind of
The ordinance of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know right now.
There's roosters in my neighbor's house.
Yeah.
I think you're fine.
They ain't gonna have no problems with that.
Yeah, there was a goat at school. So-
Yeah, there was a goat at Driveline.
No, those are, and I'm not taking credit for the first 3 pages. Sorry, dude, that's you. Well, they're the wrong direction, but I think they're still readable.
I would like to know what our limits are out there on that place for sure.
I tried calling the Hamels to kind of give some more gauge of it, and I got no answer last week.
Well, so I don't know a lot about that. I was just barely here when that started becoming a project with Mr.
Yeah.
Trujillo, but I can try to answer a question or two. I don't know,
I think the problem if you do it here is you're gonna have to wait.
for approval.
No,
If
We're
you
gonna
wanna do it
wait
on this
until all this,
Oh,
this one gets done.
well, yeah, we
Whereas
wait
if you
till
do it
the,
over there, he can do it immediately.
yeah, well, and how long will they let us wait on that money?
Well, actually, I think we have like a couple of years. And then, it has to be, we have to use it.
there's a
within couple of years.
reauthorization every year you have to do on it when you don't use it all,
Mhm.
or depending what you do. And then that goes into a bill action with the governor, so she can either sign it or say,
She can veto it
as
as
well.
well. So if you don't use it.
Because she did, I kind of was really weird reading these bills this year, and she like not signed multiple capital outlay projects, which is unheard of. She gives like, nope, veto, so, especially some reauthorization stuff.
We got ours.
Like I said, I was very shocked, like, I had put this together, like, no true bids, nothing, and we got it, and I was like, whoa. So, like I said, I don't know the stipulations of, that property. Those are things I started working on last week. We kind of were waiting for the true authorization before we brought this up and started working on this before we wasted our time in case the governor did veto it or something happened, so.
So this will cover like our barn, our pens, everything.
This would cover everything. In that initial look, I had talked to them about incorporating the out pin system we already kind of had started developing out there and turning that as, okay, we have an outdoor show arena, we have stuff like that, some out pins that maybe kids can feed the cattle out there, do different things. We could do some more projects out there, and then it would have the indoor pins as well set up for small animals and large animals.
So
And it
we
was
wouldn't have to go
air
back for any
conditioning.
kind of reapproval for any changes or anything. It would just,
This is kind of the way it's written in the state law for the capital outlay bill for us is we have full design authority. So groundwork, whatever we need.
As long as it meets the amount.
The quote, yeah, as long as it meets that price. And so this is kind of just getting you guys informed about it and starting that process of where we're at. I'm excited to see us grow this program. I have a bunch of young kids that have showed interest of well, I wanna show goats, I wanna show sheep, I wanna do this, but they don't have anywhere to raise them. And so, we would be the first of the kind truly in this area. We've always had some type of ag farm where kids can raise their animals, to my best of my knowledge. It will be the true of the kind outside of like Texaco and some of those schools. Texaco has a beautiful property.
Nobody else in Chaves County has one. Eddie County doesn't have one. Carlsbad has one, I guess, but like Artesia doesn't have one.
But many other schools in our state don't have one. When Candy approached me about this idea, she was like, this is amazing, this is gonna, you guys know Candy Spence, she loves supporting the kids, especially the show kids, and so. Well, my thought process on it too is I would like to put permanent scales, like I know Mosses, you guys go weigh your in Roswell, but something happens, you'd be able to have a chance to weigh there. The grays, you guys are getting more show business with the pigs, things like that, wherever you guys need, having that opportunity.
Trevor's got nice skills.
Trevor got big scale, he drove Trevor.
They are.
They've been racing last week in our house.
I'm a big component, even though our 4-H kids that are younger that aren't FFA yet, I'm gonna support them if they're at our school. Colt Cutler, I supported Colton, I went and weighed his sheep and goats the other day for him. So this is not just gonna be an FFA thing, it's gonna be kids in our school. Like, they will be able to use this facility. It's the best recruitment tool I have. If they're in 4-H, might as well keep them started young and keep them going. So.
And Chris, you probably know this, I mean, do you recall that, who owns the property next, isn't it Cliff?
Mhm.
Okay, didn't he want to trade at one point? He wanted to trade 10 acres for 3?
Something like that.
No, 40 for 2.
It is, I do know, I can tell you it is 20 acres out there. It is a 20-acre plot,
It's 20?
20 out there. I do know that, so.
Other
I'm
schools
just
also
thinking-
would put a house for their ag teacher on there. I mean,
Oh,
our
he's
ag
not
teacher doesn't
getting
need a house, but one day
He's
that
not
could be a
getting that.
valuable, that could be a valuable recruiting tool in the future, just,
We're getting rid of park.
no, but I
I see a
mean.
lot of benefits with it being by closer to the school. I mean,
I mean, it's
not
an
that it's not
option.
bad out there either, but just.
Yeah, no,
I mean, I don't know how the Hamels will feel that.
that's where I'm at. I
As
don't know
the
what the
gift
constrictions
was.
or what their thoughts on it. I wasn't around. I probably wasn't even,
You're probably a wee child.
yeah, I was a wee child probably when this deal brokered and happened. Probably not even,
I'm thinking it was like 7, 8, somewhere in there, I don't remember
I was
exactly.
still
Archie was here when that happened.
I started working here in 8, 9, so it was about that time, 2008, 2010, somewhere in there is when we started, because I think at one time there was a donated building that was supposed to be put on there, and then we couldn't have that building because it wasn't gonna meet the codes for educational buildings. It was a big thing, and that's kind of how it got laid by the wayside, and then all the other things, plus COVID, plus some other stuff has kind of led us to be where we're at today without an ag farm, once that property over here sold.
You got evicted.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, since we're getting the new building, maybe they'll understand, like, this is closer.
But I don't think they'll let us wait on the money. They're gonna
Yeah,
take their
no, I think-
$500,000 back.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, it would be nice if it was close, but it really is not. I mean, I took kids walking from here to the one that was over here before to go across the railroad
If
tracks.
you acquire that land now, there's no waiting.
Right?
I mean,
True.
we're gonna wait if we build it on this facility, we're not next door.
There you go.
So we just need to find out the specifics of that
That
land.
deal.
If
It
we
was,
can trade or swap or.
It was, quick claim is what Cliff had approached me about, it would be quick claim. But
I'd like it to be a little more to our advantage than
yeah, and I mean,
To help with the.
and if I happen to have some type of water rights or anything like that, where we can actually
nepotism, never mind.
irrigate and do stuff,
I can't vote on that.
You have to recuse yourself.
Yeah.
That's city water.
just city water, yeah.
A meter, because there for a while, I think we were paying, at one point, we were paying a water bill there and a water bill here, and it was kind of a mess. There might have been a leak or something. I don't remember all the details, but it wasn't good for us.
There's just tons of opportunity to build it real close to the school and add on and do things.
We can definitely look into it. I mean, this is just a
Suggestion.
discussion. It will take a while before we even get the funds,
Yeah,
appropriated.
Like, this is just the starting process of, hey, guys, the governor signed our bill saying we have this money, so.
Any other discussions?
Just deciding.
We have a racetrack for horses.
Hey,
That's how you get a landlord.
I know.
Let's
Yeah.
try it.
Minus the fact that that's
Dog,
highly
too.
illegal.
Dog
in
track?
school.
School dogs.
Don't tell me that's not what it is.
Okay,
All right, next item is the 4-day week.
okay, so we'll try to be brief. I know everybody's getting tired. It's already past Gary's bedtime, right? So, yeah, definitely, I want to bring to your, discussion with the possibility of moving to a 4-day school week. So, some of you already know that PED, actually what they've done is they updated the requirements for the school year. So some of the schools are no longer strictly required to meet the 180 days. And instead, all we have to do is meet the minimum of 1,140 instructional hours. So with this change, it now makes it possible for schools to explore the 4-day week option. I mean, including, for our district. So they are allowing it this year. In the past, it was like, nope, you cannot do it. And now, as long as we meet the 1140 hours, we should be okay. I totally understand that this is a decision that requires a lot of careful thought. And we are at the point where I'm limited in time. I mean, we just barely got the information about a week ago, maybe a week and a half, but we are very limited with time because we have to involve all the stakeholders. It's not just us making the decision and saying, yes, let's go for it. I know that I've been giving the directive in the past to be able to look into it. Do I like the idea? Absolutely. But again, it will impact. So we also need to know how it's going to impact all the stakeholders, parents, the teachers, the community, the bus company. I mean, just everybody involved. Now, what Cody, she's going to be providing you a list of the pros and the cons. So for the 4-day week, I had the admin team meet with their staff only. We haven't gone anywhere with this. Parents haven't been informed. We want to wait and see if you want me to pursue this or just leave it alone for now. We don't know what's going to happen next year. Next year, it will be a different governor. We don't know what's going to happen. They might say, nope, you need to go back to 180 days. So you have with you, and I want Cody to be able to provide with you some of the pros and the cons. Cody, if you have the
Okay,
list.
I just prepared the document here for yours. I didn't, I'll stand by you, Ms. Reyes.
Well, but this one
Oh,
doesn't
it's
have
yours,
it.
okay.
No.
So what happened, and I'm gonna give Tori the credit, because she did all the legwork in the elementary school. I worked on stuff with the secondary, middle school, and high school teachers, and we talked to all the teachers, and gave them an opportunity. We met with them face to face. We didn't try to have the conversation through email. We met with the teachers face to face. After that, the topic of a 4-day school week came up in our calendar committee meeting. And we wanted, everybody has to be all in on this. We have to be together. The general consensus, I know, and I'll let Tori answer questions about elementary. Thank you. But I can speak to the secondary staff. We polled everybody and we gave them a poll and asked, kind of what they think, what their feedback was. 20 out of the 29 people polled, 24 of them prefer a 4-day school week option, or would like to see us consider a 4-day school week option. Only 3 people want to stay with 5. There was a couple for 4.5, but after listening to the conversation that Ms. Reyes had and the information that was coming from PED, I don't think 4.5 would be a viable option for us. Some common themes that come out in the conversations of the positives or those that were in favor of the 4-day week are better work-life balance for our teachers, on opportunity to rest and recharge, time for personal appointments, errands, and family responsibilities, and maybe a reduced need for them to use personal leave days. We feel like it would help with teacher morale. One of the biggest questions we get asked when we're interviewing people is, are you a 4-day school week? That comes up almost every time we interview somebody. And I know that more often than not, if you have a choice between a 4-day school week and a 5-day school week, you're probably gonna pick the 4, because we all pay about the same for the most part. And we hope that it would be, less burnout for teachers and students, more opportunities for people to use their Friday, maybe for planning, preparation, getting reset for their next week, intervention possibly, an opportunity for more focused one-on-one support. Our periods would become a little bit longer just to accommodate the hour requirement. We would hope that maybe we would continue to see our positive trends for student absence, and better attendance. There's a couple of concerns that came out from the secondary staff. They do feel like, the days are gonna be longer. We're looking at probably 4:15, 4:30 end times. Right now at the high school, that wouldn't be as huge of a deal, because they would start athletics during that time, and there's a very small number of our students who are not engaged in athletics. I would say maybe 25 or less of our high school students are not involved in athletics 7th period. I think Parker's 7th period is only 6 kids, 5 kids? 5. Art has about 12 kids, I think, and there may be a couple more kids in other places that aren't accounted for, but almost everyone else is in athletics 7th period. And then we would have to really work and concentrate on the amount of effort we put into having our students engaged through the class period, because they would be a little bit longer, but we wouldn't go to like hour-and-a-half classes. We would still be, and I think the conversation that they had on Friday was that it's still a 7.5-hour day for students. So it wouldn't be, we see a little bit maybe from a 55-minute period to like a 70-minute or something, but it wouldn't be considerably longer.
For staff, it would be like maybe 4:45, 5:15. So
Yeah,
it would
depending
be
on
longer.
what our start and end times were. But we did get some other positive information out of that meeting. The concern for childcare is not as great at the secondary level. A lot of our kids are able to care for themselves after school. Some of them ride the bus home and let themselves in, and we have kids that stay for practice. A lot of them drive. I think that is something that would be a consideration maybe for some of our younger parents, but based on the numbers of cars I see out here at 1:30 in the afternoon for pickup time, I'm not sure that that's for the pickup drive-line race. I don't know that that's a real concern anymore for our community. At one time, it probably was much greater. There was some question about how it would affect pay, especially for our hourly employees. If that would be, and there was some research and some different ways that we would have an opportunity to address that so we would not hurt those employees, but considering some of the other things that were mentioned tonight, that would maybe be even a smaller impact than what we would think. And staff did request some clarifications on, how would it work with, we have fewer numbers of days on campus, are fewer people gonna have to be on duty? Are we gonna see some people have, not have to do morning duty, not have to do bus duty in the afternoon? I can't answer that question, and I think it would really just depend on where we were at the time. The other thing that comes up, what about our kids that are worried about meals? Would they count on us for that Friday meal? I think we would have some opportunities to address that with some of our social programs that we have in place with like community homeschools and that kind of stuff, because that is a real thing. A lot of our kids do come to eat lunch and to eat breakfast here at school. But other school districts have mitigated that by providing maybe take-home meals and some things to alleviate some of those concerns. But that was kind of the high school stuff. Tori, anything major for the elementary that was much different than that, or?
Yeah,
It's right here. I've got it if you want to look.
I think it was pretty much the same. That was pretty much the.
I think the younger kids are worried about the longer days.
The pre-K is really gonna be your.
That's a long day for those little guys. That was another thing we talked about.
Just a longer nap.
Longer nap. Do they even get to nap now? Can we put nap back in for those little?
Well,
Morning and afternoon.
They have nap in pre-K, we don't have it in kinder.
You could have it back. You could have it back.
Recess time was another thing, and then another thing with the extended school day, you feel like you can add those things in like science that are not getting taught right now, because with you have a little bit of extra time to add in those things. So that's
probably
another
more
positive thing.
Probably more positives like the NLSS, you can have more times for interventions and things like that too.
And then
specials
maybe at
would
the
take
end,
the hit.
at the end of the day, especially for the elementary and even the secondary, be more creative, do more STEM activities where the kids are,
House
you
stuff,
know,
those kind of
being
things.
energized and.
And I think those are the bigger things. Pretty much similar between the two buildings, the concerns that came out of those.
We had 100% say yes and no.
To a four-day week, knowing that, and they're saying yes, knowing two things. One, that it was gonna extend their workday, and two, that it would potentially kind of alter our calendar the way we have it. Because based on the information that we got the other day, we can't have we have to have true 4-day weeks for the school calendar to work. We can't have some weeks that are 4-day weeks and some weeks that are 5-day weeks. We would have to be purely 4, which would probably bump our start date potentially 3 to 5 days to like the end of July, like July 31st. Something that I heard in that conversation was that Loving has a really kind of the model calendar for this, and they kind of, and they shared that with us. We looked at that, and it doesn't look like it would be unmanageable for us to take that on. Those of us who show animals at County Fair might be a little more tired that first week of school, but.
So why is it that you have to start earlier?
So, because we're losing the instructional day of Friday every week.
So they say that
To
you
meet
can,
the
you can only
hours.
go to
Yeah,
a
you
trip.
have to have the hours.
If you're gonna go to a 4-day school week, it has to be a
How
4-day
many
school week.
hours are in a 4-day?
How many
It would be
hours?
7.5 times 4.
So it was actually, the hours, it has to be the same.
Yeah, it's not to be 11:40 hours.
11:40. And then according to this schedule right here, we have 11:48.
Yeah, and there was, and like, I mean, we would have a little bit of,
And we probably have to cut a little bit because notice that, I mean, the second page for the 4-day, it has 7.46 academic hours. We have to cut a little bit there because we need to make sure that it is 7 point, or maybe add a little bit more, 7.5. We cannot go, so maybe it's okay, 7.46 is okay.
and it doesn't count, like, we did find out that it doesn't count our passing periods against us, only our middle of the day lunch period
Lunch.
counts for us. So like,
Everybody else out.
did we rat everybody else out? No, we didn't rat anybody else out. They were just talking, I mean, sharing all these ideas of how it works.
So you still have to get 11:40,
Yes,
but there's a number you can't go over of instructional hours each day that you have to stay within. And for us to be able to go 4 days and meet those requirements, that means we would have to add more days at the beginning or the end of the year.
And at one time, we had talked about, well, what if we just put the Fridays in August? Unfortunately, that wouldn't let us,
they will not.
that won't fly. It won't meet their test, I guess.
Because once you add a Friday, I mean, you can add a Friday, for example, if you don't have school like on a Monday, then you would have to come to school Tuesday through Friday. But let's say, because at first, when this schedule was created, we had some Fridays there. But then once you add a Friday, then you're considered a 5-day, and they won't do it. Now, the only thing is that, again, we're crunched with time, because this should have already been done. I was hoping to get it approved, by today. We have to submit everything, the calendar, everything, but the budget has to be in by May 22nd. And so we are really,
And from the rumors I've heard, our neighbors up north of us are trying to go 4-day as well.
and many schools.
Well, even large districts like Portales, they are voting, and that's a big school district of 4A. That was a conversation Coach Rodriguez and I had, was that, if we're a 4A school, to think that they're gonna go 4 days. But the article that I read about Portales wanting to do that is all of their neighboring districts are all 4-day weeks, so they're losing students and teachers to Floyd, Dora, Elida, all the places that go 4-day week.
So if we want to do a 4-day, this is the time to do it. But I know that we're crunched with time. It's difficult because we can't just say, oh, we have to do it without talking to the community, having community meetings, parents,
A lot of,
the bus
I
company.
feel a lot of parents already know about it because I've been talked to, say it also. So I mean, kids know, my kids came home 2 or 3 times. Hey, are y'all talking about this? Hey, do you know about this? And parents have asked me it also. So is this something that's?
And you probably say, I have no idea.
I was like, you mentioned, but we haven't ever talked about it.
But, sometimes things leak.
And we do have plans, I know Coach Rodriguez and I would be prepared to discuss it with parents when we have our parent meeting on the 30th, which is next Wednesday.
I don't think you're gonna have a whole lot of pushback because, like, we have wind days, and, we send the kids to school, and then by noon, well, we gotta go get them. So just,
I'm sorry.
it is what it is. It's nothing, but like, people have to adjust.
Yes.
I'll tell you,
That's what it
we adjusted our pre-K schedule. We went a half day. Our numbers on Fridays were terrible. Because parents, it's easier for a parent to make a plan for a full day than a half day. And so if the decision is to go to 4 days and a parent has to make a plan for Friday, a parent can do that because it's easier to plan out one day.
Right.
And I think if I could jump in real quick.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Ms. Reyes is concerned about us not having time. I think that, we have a good team ready to go. It's something that we want. And I know, the admin team's going to work hard to try to make it work. And I know the teacher's going to work hard to try to make that work. And, it's something I think is going to benefit all of us in the long run. And there's going to be hiccups. We know that, it's new to us, and we're going to have to kind of see what other districts have done to make it work and then find something that works for us. But, it's something that we're really, really motivated to do. And we're going to make sure that we cover all our bases as best we can to make sure that it doesn't fail and it is successful.
Well, and I think that was kind of a cool thing that they talked about in that meeting is that, like, if we took a snow day, we could go that Friday to make up our snow day immediately because we'd still maybe be within the 4-day threshold of the week. Or if we had an infamous wind day or something like that, we would have that cushion in our that flexibility to make it up immediately versus trying to tack something on somewhere else.
From an educational standpoint, there's a lot out there of the benefit of going 4 days and the balance of it. Not only for your teachers, but for your students and for your families. And so I know Texas just allowed schools to go 4 days, and it was like a tidal wave to go 4 days, just because there's a lot of benefits to it.
It'll turn my Sunday into a Friday.
So, we're here today to seek guidance, and, you just let us know the direction that you want us to take. And then, of course, depending on the direction you provide and the input that we receive, we might have to have a special meeting to get the calendar approved, because this is something that I need to enter into OBMS as soon as possible. And, but of course, I can't do it without the direction.
You said they're due the 22nd?
It's due on the 20th. Well, this is due yesterday, as soon as possible. But, I mean.
It would be nice to have a calendar to talk about, like, with our staff and that kind of stuff. The sooner the better.
Mhm.
I say do the 4 day.
Yeah, that's what I say too.
Try it for a year, if it doesn't work, go back to it.
Sounds easy, sounds easy enough.
Almost jumped out of his seat. 4 days a second ago.
You can have a whole another day for gaming. Well, that was the part that I know Alex and Mr. Parker both, in their comments, because I was able to see who said what, they both mentioned that as FFA competes primarily on Saturdays and cross country is primarily a Saturday thing, they would feel like they still, and our coaches and our kids would still have a weekend, because I think we do see a hit sometimes on track, our cross country numbers and FFA numbers if the kids like giving up my whole Saturday and I only get 1 day a weekend. And I know that during the 6 weeks of judging season, it's rough, and I'm sure the same for Coach Alex with cross country. It's murder after you spend a whole day traveling and doing all those things.
So again, the plan is to be able to talk to all the stakeholders. The Hamill Bus Company will be impacted the most. And that's something that we also have to think about. I know they work for us.
They've been writing this cash cow.
But I
And it might actually help them if they don't have to, if their bus drivers don't have to,
Less wear and tear on their buses.
less wear and tear, and then they get Fridays
I
off
bet
too.
they'd be on board for it, 'cause oil changes.
less diesel.
Services.
That's,
Tires?
you'd be surprised.
Okay.
Hey, and
So
if those
if
bus
you-
drivers need hours, we have a lot of activities going on.
There you go.
Win-win.
So again, if you want me to proceed, it's a lot of heavy lifting that we have to do. And it's I'm gonna have to delegate as well, because,
We're ready.
and
I
we
would
have
get it
to,
out there, Ms. Reyes.
we
I
have
would, yeah.
to, okay, we need to.
Like I said,
have
it's not a
parent meeting.
secret.
Well, we
Everybody,
have a parent meeting scheduled for the 30th. That's the plan, because
I need it yesterday.
Well, that's next week. That's as soon as we can do it, Ms. Reyes.
No, I-
Give me
I
the rest of our
totally
I think
calendar.
the only
Well, I
thing
saw-
you're gonna get flack on
I
is,
get that out.
You know
So we
what,
just put out a
the
survey, but
only,
it's
the only
just-
thing
It's
is
the
that
first
parents
day.
do not
You're gonna
respond
get
to the
some crap
surveys.
first day,
They do
I
not
bet you they'll
respond.
respond to this.
Here's-
one.
here's
Yeah.
something
I
you
bet
I
you-
think we can do it and
you
do
got
it
a
in a
lot
way
of
that's
response.
kind of
Oh,
forceful.
it's-
If we put it on Class
It's
Dojo
like
and
the
say,
July-
first day.
no, it's
I
July
don't have-
31st.
Johnny's.
I know Lydia's mom needs to get her act together, yeah.
If we did it that way and just.
Okay,
did it
and so,
This
so,
mom-
oh my goodness, look at that.
Fly went across the, Megan, was that you?
So what's the first day of school? Is it the 31st or the 7th?
It would be
It would
July
have-
31st,
You have
yes.
to bump it up. Yeah. You know,
Yeah, that's what Loving's schedule looked like. They start, like, there was 3 days of in-service and they started school July 31st.
so you really, it
And I
really
think
is a
Ross
bump
will
up.
start school, they're on a 5-day week and they still start school on July 31st.
Well, and a lot of them are doing K3 plus, K5 plus, which makes them start then anyways. They're
Right.
not a 4-day school week, but they're doing K5
Yeah.
plus, and they have to add all those days.
Right.
I would.
And yeah, we would still have the same Thanksgiving break, a whole week of Thanksgiving. We would still have our spring break. Christmas would still be 2 weeks. We would still get out by like May 22nd, 23rd. We wouldn't have to come back after Memorial Day.
Okay, so this is what I recommend, and it's going to happen tomorrow,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Let's create a survey. The elementary teachers, my expectation would be to contact every single one of your parents and let them know, okay, I need you to go into this, and be able to respond to the survey. The survey needs to be done in both English and in Spanish.
Okay.
And they need to respond to the survey, but y'all, the teachers will need to make the contact. And the same thing with the secondary, because maybe if you.
I actually screenshot the questions that Dexter was asking
I'm seeing
about.
class sponsors.
You want those?
High school.
So,
Because there's.
the survey will be sent to you, so if you can work on that.
Yes, I will.
It will be sent to you by tomorrow, Mr. Williams. Put it out on Class Dojo.
Or do we want one survey unified for both?
Let's do one
I would
unified.
do it.
And then, either A-Rod or Cody posted on the
The QR code on marquee.
marquee, and
A-Rod's
Is it
made that,
going
was
to
it
be, there will be a
like
digital
yes
way
or
to
no,
do it?
or
And then will there be
paper?
can they do
so
paper as
so
well?
we also, and that was one of the things that a lot of the parents are requesting, that we go back to, not just the digital, but we also have to give them a paper
That's what I was gonna say,
pencil.
some of our
So
parents.
let's do that, and then it has to be in both languages. I know that it's not the ideal, especially when it comes to a survey, but it has to be.
But it doesn't have to be a long
If you-
survey. It's,
no,
are you in favor? Are you not in favor?
Yeah.
I think
You
it's.
can hit half of them at Dread, like,
Yes, absolutely.
Just ask the parents when they're dropping their
Yes.
kids off in the morning. You got 3 lanes.
Yeah, that's like
Put it-
90%.
There you go.
True,
Okay,
true, not
yeah, we'll
something.
do a QR code on a clipboard and just.
like you can't drive away until you.
And then have the meeting.
We're not
Just
sending
put
your
it
kids
on
out.
iPad, and they just fill it out right there.
So, and then,
But if she creates that, we can copy it and hand it out paper-wise. We can send that home.
We'll get it done.
okay, and then let's have a meeting in the cafeteria or maybe the auditorium on the
The
30th.
30th, that was the thing, A-Rod and I worked on a plan for that, because we would like some parent feedback on the discipline matrix, the handbook, and
Now, do I want to have it together and with the?
I think it's better.
I think so, because then you're gonna have parents who have kids
Okay.
involved,
Okay.
and for them to see that it's the
Have
same.
one.
Okay, all right, well, let's tackle it.
We'll work on that.
So once you have it finalized, we'll just have a meeting real quick to.
Can we, okay, so we can, do you want to schedule the meeting tonight? And then that way we can have the calendar, it can be approved.
I mean, if we could change this to approval right now, just approve.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to do that?
Yes.
Okay,
I don't know.
but it's not on
I
the
don't know if we can
agenda
adjust
though.
the agenda right now.
No.
We can't adjust the agenda.
No, it's not on the agenda.
Would like to.
Meeting at 8:45.
Sorry.
I make the motion to lock it out.
No, well,
No, it's not, it's only a
It's not-
discussion.
it's just.
I mean, you're probably not gonna get a lot of feedback, that's typical, but
Okay, put it out there.
I think it's inevitable that it's gonna
Just
happen.
real quick, we're not K plus, correct?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, yes and no. So every school in New Mexico, it's a K5 or a K12 now. The only thing is that we don't get the funding because we have to go
Okay.
over
Gotcha.
the days.
Yep.
But for example, like here, we have a total of 1148 hours. Then that means that we get like maybe 1 day for the K plus. So we get funding for that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
moving on, Ms. Reyes is superintendent.
I'm only gonna say one thing because I know it's already kind of late and everybody's just like ready to go. So I'm just very happy to share that we are very close to the completion of the programming phase with Decker. We're like very, very close and it's working out very well. I think right now we are like 89
and it was 93.
It was 93,000 square
Less than
footage,
5,000.
so we have to cut down on a little bit. But, I'm just happy to say that last week, I had the opportunity to go to Santa Fe. We had a hiccup that, I was sweating and I thought, oh my goodness, they are not going to give it to us. But at the end of the day, we ended up getting the additional 19,000 square footage. So right now, we qualify for 89,000, and I can't remember the exact number, but, we were approved. And, I'm just very grateful for that. I believe it was 19,500 additional square footage. Now, the only thing that we do have to keep in mind, we had a waiver and our portion was going to be 624,000. Now it's going to be a little bit over $1 million because, it's an additional 20,000 square footage that we are,
That we can use but don't have to.
well, we are going to because we
You haven't been in one of those meetings lately.
Oh, so you gotta use it?
it's, we have to use it because we just don't have
You gotta
enough.
show up to one of those meetings.
Uh-huh.
We're like decreasing in size.
Now,
So we're gonna be teaching in coat closets.
money-wise, we are okay. Okay, so there's gonna be additional fees for Decker as well. I believe it's like an additional $58,000. We are okay. We're going to be okay. Now, keep in mind, in next month, we will have somebody here from RBC, and they will be talking about the upcoming bond. So right now, we have a bond for 1,800,000. So we have enough money to cover for that. But then we are going to go for another one, which it will not increase people's taxes. The taxes will stay the same. So I think, and that would give us an additional 1.9. I think it will be dumb not to go for it if it's already out there. It will leave taxes the same. Now, if we decide that we don't want to go with it, then it will decrease taxes.
I think something that we need to look into is they said that landscaping wouldn't be, so if we do go for that second bond, then we can use that second bond money for landscaping.
Are we still sticking to our projected completion date?
Yes, no, I keep saying, well, it's probably gonna be 7 years from now, but they actually have, I believe, the end of 27, do you recall?
27.
Yeah.
Said
Almost
Next year,
27 would be moving in.
Yeah, I read that, the 2027, I was like, man.
Yes,
So Emmanuel, would that be
Unbelievable,
outside?
but-
There you go.
I
So
saw
you're junior,
projects
senior,
around
and
here.
brand new fiscal year? And only for 4 days?
Dollar store.
Dollar General.
so it will probably be, I say, because what they wanna do is they wanna finish the school, like maybe during the summertime, and then be able to move in.
And then tear it down, is what it
Yes.
sounds like. Not the.
So I'm excited, I mean,
We gonna have, we gonna be the gem of Southeast, at $500,000 ag farm, school.
4-day week.
4-day week.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna come want to work for
You got
us.
Unison job.
what else can we ask for? And
we're in a better location.
The jewel of
Yeah,
Travis
it's
County.
nicer.
There you go.
Gotta
The jewel of
Google
the
that.
diamond.
And that's all I have.
Ready?
call it athletic.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm not discussing anymore.
Bless you, Ms. Reyes.
I got it all. There's a YouTube video. All right, thanks everybody for coming. We got executive session. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Need a motion to